What is going on, guys? Back here with another edition of Kevin's Corner. What is going on, Kevin? How are you doing? He is Kevin Nasta of Damage 365 Promotions. Got another promotion he's got to in the bag this weekend. So, Kevin, go right ahead.
Yeah, what's up, guys? It's kind of like last time we spoke. It just feels like the calendar gets a little higher, numbers wise, but the weekends remain exactly the same. Take the same repetitive, very annoying trip to Queens, and it doesn't matter which way you go, you will sit in traffic and drive on roads that are probably worse than the surface of the moon.
Yeah, I can attest to, Kevin. Yes, you're 100% correct. I mean, you talk about man-made potholes. Geez, I've seen potholes that can fit entire cars in them. It was
it's terrible, and to think that by the time that Saturday is over, depending on which way I went, I can be spending anywhere from $42 to $56 in tolls. Just to ruin the suspension of my car.
All right, so last week it was Natalia Markova and ISIS. This week, who you got coming into Queens and for your virtual Facebook signing?
This week we have the former SWE Fury Women's Champion, who has been seen a couple of times on AEW Dark. Christi Jaynes will be joining us from Salt Lake City, Utah. So we're very excited to showcase Ms. Jaynes. She's a very, very good, polished wrestler. She's making a name for herself. She reminds me a lot, not style-wise, but someone that's able to market herself and promote and just pretty much make a name for herself. She reminds me a lot of Thunder Rosa.
She's got a lot of personality too, man. I've seen some of her interviews that she's done, man. She's really she's got a great personality, so that should be exciting for you. And then you got the Facebook virtual signing too as well.
We do. She will be doing the virtual signing that evening, same evening this Saturday, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. through my Facebook page, facebook.com/Nasta, Nasta. You will have to friend request prior to the virtual signing to be able to comment, claim, or ask questions and make purchases. And a lot of people have been asking me, why I don't do it on my business page compared to why I do it on my personal page. Just the very generic answer is just to keep the trolls out. Because if I'm not friends with you, then you can watch, but you can't comment. So you can't be stupid. You can't say stupid things. You can't make false purchases and bids. Where if it's on my business page, it's a public page. Anybody who's anybody can come on and, cause a lot of problems.
All right. Well, since last you spoke, you put your sandwich top 5 out there for the world to see. I saw that. And I don't know if you've seen this, Kevin, but I wanted to talk to you about this. And have you heard about Kraft teaming up with this ice cream place called Van Leeuwen? They actually came out, Kevin, check this out, with a mac and cheese ice cream.
Yeah, I saw that. That's disgusting.
It's so delicious.
Oh God, no. This is coming from the same guy that was crying last week about getting food poisoning.
Oh man, it's so
Kevin. He cries about everything.
It did
the truth. I mean, you've known him long enough as well as I.
I cried about driving to Queens last week.
The Mets driving.
Well, look, we all do. I mean, millions of people have to share that same cry.
Crashed the site within 9 minutes, and all 2,000 pints were gone. Yummy, Kevin. How about that? What's one thing that you would like to see on an ice cream?
Well, this is what I think about your Kraft.
Are they going to come up with a name next year, Kevin?
That doesn't exist anymore. What are you talking about?
My racist garbage pail.
The WTFs.
If I remember correctly, I read somewhere during the early stages of COVID, they filed for trademarks for the Washington Wolves.
Is that the one that you like? I like Warriors myself.
I mean, I like the Redskins, but we all can't have what we want. But I mean, I don't mind the Wolves. I don't mind the Spiders. I don't mind. There was a couple of them that came up there. The Warriors, but I think they did say that it will have no connection or confusion to anything that would be tribal or Native American. So I don't think the Warriors. I think that would kind of go against what they're saying.
What about the Wombats? Heard that one?
I like that.
The Wombats.
Washington Wombats.
What would you name it though? What to you would be the one that you'd be like, okay, I can roll with this?
I know what Kevin would say. The Washington Redskins.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say maybe the Washington Senators. I know that used to be a baseball team back in the day.
Yeah.
What was the team name from the movie The Replacements with Falco? What they would have Washington
Sentinels.
The Sentinels. That's a pretty cool name too.
Yeah. And
that is still a movie that I watch every single time, and no matter how many times I've seen it, I still watch it.
It's a great movie. It's like that movie. Like when I need a good pick me up laugh, sports related, it would be like that, and The Longest Yard, and any of the Major League movies. They give me.
Wait, which one though? Reynolds' Longest Yard or Adam Sandler's Longest Yard?
No, Adam Sandler's one, because it's just that ridiculous cast of people they've had in that movie.
Gotcha.
There's nothing funny to watch.
Great Khali's in it. WWE Hall of Fame. Great Khali.
Kevin Nash and
Stone Cold Steve Austin. What am I thinking? Last week we talked about, you're not
skipping Goldberg here, but okay.
Yeah, you're a UFC fight fan. You're not a particular fan of the.
Are we going to be talking about the Third Eye?
Yeah, Jessica Third Eye.
Oh my, yeah,
that is. Oof. And you talked about it before last week, right? You're like, you hope she protects the moneymaker, and unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
No.
Well, I mean, from the eyebrows down, she was okay. It was just the Cyclops was. Oof, I texted it at night, and I was like, "Don't worry, I still love you, even though you got 3 eyes." But yeah, that was brutal. And then about a day later, I messaged her again, and I said, how you doing? How you recovering? She said she was doing good. She felt like she should have won that match. She was very upset that it was a unanimous decision. I can't comment on it because I didn't watch it, and I won't watch highlights of it.
Yeah.
And I told her straight up, I was like, hey, I told you I couldn't watch it, but just heal up. And we'll see you in November.
Yeah, man. Hopefully. I mean, that was pretty Trencher. That was pretty bad, man. That was and then it made the rounds, so she got really more publicity too, just because of that. That was crazy.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures of she was kind of like holding the girl, and she was like literally bleeding all over her face and dripping on the girl's shoulder. It was kind of gross.
Man, so
I did without that.
Right, the price you pay, basically. But again, it's getting her some notoriety because everybody's talking about that too. So we can find a way of making that marketable, Kevin. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if maybe I can just go out and buy plastic eyeballs.
Plastic eyeballs right there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get some plastic, or want to go to the Halloween store and get a scar kit.
Well, you're a promoter, so let's see.
So I can figure it out. I'm still looking for some toy plastic meat for the Stasiak signing.
That's right. That's coming up. So again, it's a busy month for Damage 365 promotions.
It's a busy weekend all the time for Damage 365.
Yeah. We got 6
more. We got this. This is week 2 of 6 in a row, and then 7 of 9. I do want to put this out there just in case we don't do anything for next week. The 24th, we're bringing in Eric Rowan.
Yes.
And I want to get that out there because of the fact that we have them piggybacked one after another. Pre-sales they get kind of tossed together. So people will get a little overwhelmed. They're like, oh wait, I literally just got my Markova stuff in the mail, and I'm ordering Christi Jaynes stuff, and you're already talking about, Eric Rowan stuff and blah, blah, blah. So, Eric Rowan is going to be doing the full weekend worth of stuff. I know you guys you aren't ready for this. So it's going to be no graphics for this conversation. So, but Eric Rowan will be signing from 12 to like 1:30 at Rip and Run Toys and Collectibles in Butler, New Jersey. And then we're shooting over to the Wrestling Universe in Comac, New York for a 3 to 5 or basically a 2-hour period from whenever we get there from New Jersey. So if we're a little late, we're still going to be there 2 hours. And then later that evening, we'll be doing the virtual signing from Damage DHQ. So it's gonna be exciting. I mean, I'm not one of those people that goes out and tries to get like the recent released people right away. But the chance to bring him in was proposed to me, and I jumped at it because it was all about timing. To me, it was all about timing because he made his rounds earlier at other stores and did other things, but that was during COVID, and people took a lot of photo ops with masks on. So now they get to come meet him and get some more autographs and take those photos with him without the masks.
Yeah, believe it or not, that makes a huge difference for some people. I mean, doing the protocols where you're standing behind some plastic or you're standing 6 feet away, it's not the same thing as getting that legit photo that everybody always wants to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't want to have a photo op with this guy? I mean, you don't want that photo.
Yeah,
no. There you go. Hey, eyeballs. You don't want that. So, no. I mean, unless he showed up, like that. Then it'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's really different. Exactly. 100%.
Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, he's got all that coming up, folks. It's crazy. All right. So, question for you, man. Second half of the season now.
I knew it was only time before we got the baseball, and then I was waiting for the KFC review that I just did too.
Oh yeah, man, that tanked, huh? KFC, watch out. Oof.
Terrible.
Yeah, but what do you think of the All-Star game, first and foremost?
Some amazing uniforms, by the way.
No, those were awful. You know what? I honestly watched about 2 innings of the game. Mm-hmm. I can't watch the All-Star game because to me it's like watching a spring training game because it's like once you get comfortable seeing somebody that you blink and they're gone. Yeah. I also didn't like how they kind of led up to the All-Star game with basically changing the rules. Because they're treating Ohtani like the next Babe Ruth, kind of like they did with Aaron Judge a couple of years ago. How'd that go? So look, everybody's jumping on the Ohtani bandwagon. I get it, but like I said with Aaron Judge, can we wait for the guy to play a full season, maybe 3 seasons before we start constructing that plaque in Cooperstown? I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous. I'm a big stats guy, and to look at a pitcher and say, oh, he's got a decent record and a decent ERA, but if I was to rank Ohtani as a starting pitcher, he wouldn't even be in my top 10 in baseball. He's a mediocre pitcher that throws hard, but he's a thrower. He's not a pitcher. As soon as he gets into trouble, it just falls apart. If you watched him pitch against the Yankees, that was an absolute debacle. And then he puts himself in a situation where he doesn't play anywhere else. So once he got taken out as a pitcher, he got taken out of the lineup. Now you put your team in a tough spot. So Major League Baseball decided like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do for the All-Star game. This guy's going to start. He's going to pitch. And then we're just going to let him DH too, which you can't, in baseball, that's not possible, but they made it for the All-Star game so that he can bat and pitch. Which they shouldn't have. They should have allowed him to pitch. They should have got somebody else to DH because he would have got another person in the lineup, somebody a little bit more deserving. And, then maybe put him in the outfield for 1 inning so he can get an extra at bat. But it made no sense. He pitched 1 inning. He got an at bat. He did nothing on either end. And he gets the win, which is, again, the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You pitch 1 inning, your team's winning after the first inning, so you get the win. And I get it's an exhibition for the fans, but let's keep it a little realistic.
Yeah, I did not watch 1 second of it at all. I just, for some reason, I can't get into it. I like Ohtani's story. I think that yeah, they're trying to market the guy, but again, baseball doesn't market their players well at all. So I think, I think it's just a bad job in general from them. But
I don't dislike Ohtani either. I mean, I as a ball player, he's fun to watch. He looks like he's having a lot of fun doing what he does. But again, it's like Aaron Judge, like let the guy play the game. Stop trying to put the entire league on his shoulders because he's having a good half. It's just not fair that you're putting added pressure on a guy playing for a bad team with a superstar already on his team. So it's like, leave the guy alone. Let the guy play. You don't need a face of Major League Baseball. You want to promote somebody, promote baseball, promote the sport itself. You don't need to promote one guy. I mean, you have guys like Ronald Acuna. Granted, he just got hurt, but he's putting up similar numbers, but better batting average, more RBIs. Fernando Tatis Jr. put up some of these prodigies, like Vladimir Guerrero, like Tatis, like Biggio, like Bichette, like Brian Hayes. These are proteges. They've come from baseball families. Ohtani, I don't think, if I know anything about Japanese baseball players, which is not that much, but just seeing them come over here and perform, they don't perform well when people are sticking a spotlight in their face. Hideki Matsui didn't like it. Nobody that the Mets ever got from Japan ever performed under the gun, except for maybe on a handful of occasions. Tsuyoshi Shinjo came through.
Well, I mean, Steve Phillips didn't shop at Yeah,
but we had Kaz Matsui. That guy was supposed to be like the greatest shortstop ever on the planet.
But even we got people overseas who were shopping at Hobby Lobby. I mean, nothing against Hobby Lobby, but we weren't shopping, where the Yankees were getting, and not that they picked any great players as well, because I mean, Tanaka was really good, but I mean,
Tanaka was good, but he was already, he already had 1 million innings in his arm. So, whatever he gave him, they gave him. Matsui didn't live up to the hype, but he still had a great career and he was clutch in the playoffs. And then you had the other guy. Remember, Steinbrenner called him a fat toad.
Arabu.
Hideki Arabu. I mean, he bombed. He bombed. I mean, you have your few exceptions. You have your Ichiros, and but does Ichiro have the career that he has if he's playing anywhere else outside of small town baseball, USA, Seattle? Does he perform at the peak of his career if he's with the Yankees? Does he perform with the Cubs? Does he perform with the Red Sox in a big market where everybody's shoving a microphone up your nose? I don't think he does. I mean, granted, he did go to the Yankees late in his career, but he was just riding it out at that point.
All right, so check this out. The only thing I did catch from the All-Star game was the legend himself, Peyton Manning, with the first pitch. And I want you to critique it being a baseball guy here, and let us know what you think here. Here's Peyton Manning throwing out the first pitch, and just your thoughts.
As a coach of 25 years,
I mean, this is not 50 Cent level.
He had decent form until he got to the top of his head, and then he shorted it. And once he shorted it, all his momentum was going forward, which means he had to rush his arm through the, through going forward, and that's why he bounced it. If he would have just took his time, he would have reached the catcher. It was just he rushed his whole motion, and he got to the release point, and his hand was literally in front of his face already, and it should have been near his ear.
And you could tell though too that neck injury, that surgery, kind of messed up his range of motion too, because maybe Peyton Manning before that would be able to do that. So, but obviously, it's not on the 50 Cent level. It's on the Dr. Fauci level. But still, a guy like
at least he got it to home plate.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you didn't abruptly throw it like in the stands in the dugout, basically what 50 Cent did. So
but that's basically what I'm watching now when it comes to MLB All-Star Game, stuff like that. I mean, because it just I just have lost that passion for the All-Star Game. It's just not the same. But our boy Pete Alonso, though, he takes it seriously. He loves the All-Star weekend, the festivities. He loves all that stuff. So good for Alonso. And now we turn to a second season for the second half for the Mets. And man, trade deadline approaching. What are we going to do here, man? Are we going to maintain this first place run here for the Mets?
The Mets need a starting pitcher. I don't have any doubt in my mind that this is absolutely imperative that they pick up a starting pitcher, and it has to be somebody of significance. It can't be some journeyman left-hander or journeyman right-hander, but it's got to be somebody that's going to give them innings, that's going to keep them in the game. Carlos Carrasco, I have confidence that will be back. I have probably less than 10% confidence that we will see Syndergaard in a meaningful baseball game prior to the playoffs starting. Like, I have a funny feeling if he does come back and the Mets do make the playoffs, you're going to see him in the playoffs. I think if he does come back, he's going to ride it out in the minor leagues to get his work in and be an arm in the playoffs. I just don't see him. And there's absolutely to be honest with you, there's no reason to rush him back this year. If they're winning the division with a month left in the season and they got a healthy lead, there's no need to rush him back. Let him pitch in the minor leagues, let him get his reps. It's a reason why you moved all your minor league teams close to Queens so you can keep an eye on guys. You just don't. There's no reason for it. It can only help the Mets. He's not going to leave and go somewhere else. He's going to take that offer, the qualifying offer next year, because nobody's going to take the chance. Everybody's going to think he's damaged goods. So they got to go out and get a starting pitcher. Maybe the dude Berrios, maybe he's an option as long as we're not giving up the whole farm system.
So I'm going to say that I'm going to hope that JD Davis comes back and he gets somewhere to the level he was. The defense is shaky, but VR can come in and for defensive purposes. I like Carrasco. Hopefully comes in. So I just want to tighten up that bullpen a little bit. Edwin Diaz still scares the hell out of me. So
he does, but you can see though that the improvements mentally with him when he gets into a little bit of a trouble, he just doesn't fold like a cheap tent. He kind of. But the problem with me is how as fans we can all see he doesn't have it, but the guy in the dugout that's getting paid to make that decision doesn't see when Diaz doesn't have it.
This brings up an interesting question, right? I'm not a huge baseball guy too, but how many times have we seen organizations, preferably the Yankees, where the decision doesn't come up to that guy in the dugout? It comes up to the people upstairs.
Well, that's what happened when Callaway was the Mets manager. The GM was making all the decisions, and
Callaway's so busy flirting with the girls.
Yeah, I mean, had that go, Callaway and the GM are gone. I mean, you have to let the baseball people in the dugout run the dugout. They make the lineup. It's no different than Moneyball. When a GM puts a team together and the manager needs to manage it. But if it's not working or it's not to the model of what the GM put the team together to do, then you have to change things. You can't sit there and watch your closer throw 35 pitches, not have it, load the bases, in a 2-run game or a 1-run game or a hit ties the game or even wins the game, get the guy out. Because if he's throwing 30, 35 pitches, not only is he gone that game, he's gone the next game. So the Mets bullpen is deep. You got Lugo, you got Loop, the other dude, Brad May. He's a drizzling shits. Every 5 seconds, I'm watching that guy give up a home run.
Miguel Castro right now is to me my target because he's just had a last.
I don't understand him. He's shaky beginning of the season, and then he went on a stretch of like 2.5 months where he was lights out.
Yeah.
And then now he's just like the shits again.
Yeah, they'll go through that period, but I just want to build up that bullpen a little bit, and then I'm not going to nitpick, but that last game, you're going to the All-Star break. You got to have a deeper bullpen than just Diaz there to pitch it 2 innings. So, anyways, I digress though.
Wait, I gotta ask this one too. I know we're trying to wrap up here, but I gotta ask this. Every time I hear Jeff talk about the Mets, Kevin, it's as if they're in last place, that they're dwindling down, they're blowing opportunities, and they're in first place. So ask Jeff this question, and I wanted to pose it. Jeff, let me ask the question for God's sakes.
All right.
It's crying for some reason. I want to ask you the question as a Met fan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look at this team objectively in terms of seeing, granted, yes, they are struggling in certain, offensively, pitching. You're always going to nitpick on what you need going into the playoffs, right? But do you look at it as if you're waiting for the other shoe to drop? Do you go in with that mentality as a Met fan? Left them speechless.
There you go.
You didn't see that? You didn't hear the head nod? Yeah.
So you're frozen in silence and you're as stiff as a board.
100%, bro. I mean, look,
the way about him.
Look, the Mets are the only New York team I like. So I've been spoiled in my lifetime growing up. As a Redskins fan, they've won 3 Super Bowls. They went to 4. The Lakers gave me so many championships growing up as a Magic Johnson fan and even a Kobe fan, and and then LaFlop won one a couple years ago. So I mean, and as a Capitals fan, I was just like, that's where I can relate as a Met fan, because it was like, all right, we got this great team, won the President's Trophy, yay, plop, just take a shit in the playoffs every year. So when they finally won that championship, I was just like, for the love of God, can the Mets please give me one before I lose all my hair? I mean, it's ridiculous. But every year it's the same thing, They get off to this great start. Usually by now they're out of it. So, I don't even care losing in a World Series. If we get to the World Series and lose, I'm not even really sad about it. But I would still like to see a World Series. I was there in 2000 watching them lose live at Shea Stadium to the freaking Yankees. Like, I was there for that. So that was painful. To watch them lose to the Royals, it didn't hurt as bad because I didn't think the Mets even belonged there. So I was happy they were there. And 2, the Royals were just a young, fun, energetic team that just showed the Mets they showed the Mets they had flaws. And that's fine. They
sprayed the ball all over the place. That was so freaking annoying about them. They were a contact team, so they're just like
right. They didn't strike out against a staff that strikes people out, so that was a problem. They put the ball in play. They were fast, and they played great defense.
We would have beaten the Blue Jays, Kevin. You know that. We would have beaten the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Kevin, what's a great reminder too of that 2000 Subway Series? Black Uni's coming back, baby, on the 30th. Boy, the Mets know how to relive the history, don't they?
I could care less. That jersey did nothing, absolutely nothing for me. I think the last one I had was a Robin Ventura one, a jersey. But I'd rather see the ice cream white caps come back before that black jersey. So.
Robin Ventura, great third baseman, slow as molasses.
Best infield defense in the history of baseball, and what did that get us?
Lost 5 to the Yankees. Anyway, Kevin, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate your time here again this Saturday. Christi Jaynes will be in the Wrestling Universe store in Queens. And also has that Facebook virtual signing with you guys as well later on that day. And Damage 365 Promotions. Go to the Facebook page. Just real quick, plug it away, and we'll talk about next week.
I appreciate it, guys. As always, I look forward to these little 3-way conversations, throwing everything out there. Yeah, I mean, it's fun because we hit baseball, we hit wrestling,
food,
we hit misery, we hit chicken sandwiches. It's great.
Mac and cheese this week, so that's good too.
No.
All right.
Stop.
All right.
You're very depressed. Now he's like, I was excited before. Now you're like, no.
Now I'm gonna have to go eat something. You made me upset.
Go take a nice dip in the pool, and we'll see you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Take care, man.